Do you know that doctors can often tell when someone is nearing the end just by noticing one quiet sign in their body? Once you reach your later years, every small change in how your body feels starts to matter more than ever. Many people believe that death comes suddenly without warning. But the truth is far more unsettling and far more revealing. Long before a major health crisis happens, the body begins to send subtle signals that something is deeply wrong. Doctors see these patterns again and again in people whose health declines rapidly. Music, and once you understand them, you may never look at your body the same way again. In this video, we are going to talk about 5 warning signs that doctors instantly recognize as signals that the body may be shutting down faster than it should. These are not guesses or scary stories. They are real patterns that medical professionals have observed in patients again and again. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what these signs look like, how they show up in everyday life, and why they matter so much. Stay with us until the end because some of the most dangerous signals are also the easiest to ignore. Now, let us begin. Sign 1: Sudden loss of physical energy. One of the first signs doctors notice when the body is entering a dangerous decline is not pain or a specific disease, but a sudden and unexplained loss of physical energy. This is not the kind of tiredness that comes after a long day or poor sleep. It is a deep, persistent exhaustion that seems to drain a person even after rest. Doctors pay close attention to this because it often signals that the body is no longer producing music or distributing energy the way it should. Consider 2 men in their early 70s. Michael is 72 and still starts his mornings with simple routines. He moves around his home with purpose, takes short. Thomas, also 72, used to live much the same way, but over the past year, something changed. He began feeling exhausted after doing very little. Walking from one room to another left him winded. Even after a full night of sleep, he woke up feeling empty and weak. He told himself it was just aging. Music, but doctors know this pattern well. When the body begins to shut down, energy is one of the first systems to fail. Muscles weaken, circulation slows, and organs start competing for limited resources. The heart may not pump as efficiently. The lungs may deliver less oxygen, and the cells themselves may struggle to produce energy. This kind of fatigue is not just inconvenient. It is often a sign that multiple systems are under strain at the same time. What makes this sign especially dangerous is how easily it is ignored. Music. Many seniors believe that feeling constantly drained is simply part of getting older. Doctors know better. A rapid drop in energy often appears months or even years before serious events like heart failure, severe infections, or sudden collapse. It is the body quietly signaling that it no longer has enough reserve to handle stress. Pay attention to how quickly you tire and how long it takes to recover. If everyday tasks that once felt manageable now leave you exhausted for hours or days, that is not something to brush aside. Music. The good news is that, when caught early, declining energy can sometimes be improved by addressing nutrition, music, movement, sleep quality, and underlying medical conditions. Energy is life. When it fades too quickly, it is the body asking for help. Sign 2: Music. Changes in breathing at rest. Another sign that doctors recognize almost immediately is a noticeable change in how it is about breathing that feels strained, shallow, irregular, or uncomfortable during moments that should feel calm and effortless. When doctors observe this, they pay close attention because breathing patterns often reveal how well the heart, lungs, and nervous system are working together. Think about 2 women in their mid-70s. Linda is 75 and spends her afternoons reading or watching television. When she sits quietly, her breathing is slow and steady. She may take deeper breaths now and then, but she does not feel aware of every inhale. Her body handles oxygen without demanding her attention. Now consider Susan, also 75. When she sits in a chair, she feels like she has to focus on breathing. Her breaths are shorter, sometimes uneven, and she often sighs without realizing it. At night, she notices herself waking up, gasping slightly, or feeling like she cannot get fully comfortable. She assumes it is anxiety or age, but doctors know this pattern well. Music. When breathing becomes labored at rest, it often means the body is struggling to maintain balance. The heart may not be pumping blood efficiently, causing fluid to build up in the lungs. The lungs themselves may have lost elasticity, making oxygen exchange harder. In some cases, the brain is no longer regulating breathing as smoothly as it once did. These changes do not happen overnight. They develop slowly, which is why doctors see them as early warnings rather than sudden emergencies. Many seniors ignore these music changes because they are subtle. You may not feel pain. You may not feel sick. You simply notice that breathing no longer feels automatic. You may avoid talking for long periods because it leaves you winded. You may feel uneasy lying flat, needing extra pillow. Please type number 2 in the comments so I know you are still with me. And if you have not subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell so you do not miss any videos. Your support truly encourages us to keep creating meaningful content. Now let us continue. Sign 3, withdrawal from daily movement. Another sign doctors quietly take very seriously, music, is a gradual withdrawal from daily movement. This is not about stopping intense exercise or slowing down a little with age. It is about a noticeable shift away from ordinary motion that once felt natural and automatic. Doctors watch for this because, when people begin to move less without a clear reason, it often signals that the body and mind are entering a state of conservation, a phase where survival takes priority over vitality. Consider two men in their late 60s. Daniel is 68 and no longer does anything strenuous, but he still moves throughout the day without thinking about it. Music. He stands up often, walks around his home, steps outside for fresh air, and changes positions easily. He does not consider himself active, yet movement remains woven into his daily life. Then there is Robert, also 68. Over time, he began sitting longer and longer. He stopped getting up unless absolutely necessary. He chose the closest chair, music, avoided stairs, and found reasons to remain still. He told himself it was comfort. Doctors see it differently. When movement fades, it is rarely just laziness. The body is responding to subtle internal signals. Muscles may feel heavier. Joints may feel less cooperative. Balance may feel uncertain. Music, even mild discomfort, can teach the brain to avoid motion. Over time, this avoidance. Doctors also notice that people who withdraw from movement tend to decline faster overall. Less movement affects digestion, sleep, mood, and immunity. Blood flow slows, making it harder for nutrients and oxygen to reach tissues. The brain receives fewer signals from muscles and joints, which can accelerate cognitive decline. Over time, independence begins to slip away. Simple tasks start to feel overwhelming. The body forgets how to recover because it is no longer challenged gently and regularly. Pay attention to how often you move without being prompted. Notice whether you avoid motion or embrace it. If you find yourself sitting for long stretches, hesitating to stand, or choosing stillness even when movement would be easy, take that seriously. Doctors, music, do. Movement is not just exercise. It is communication between your body and your brain. When that communication fades, decline often follows. Rest is important, but when rest replaces movement entirely, it can quietly shorten the road ahead. Music. Sign 4, loss of appetite signals. One of the signs doctors notice almost immediately, yet patients rarely mention on their own, is a quiet change in appetite. This is not about skipping a meal now and then or eating less after a heavy dinner. It is about a gradual loss of interest in food, music. A shrinking desire to eat, or feeling full after just a few bites without trying to diet. Doctors pay close attention to this because appetite is deeply connected to how strongly the body is still fighting to maintain itself. Imagine two women in their early 80s. Patricia is 82 and still looks forward to her meals. She may eat smaller portions than she once did, but she enjoys the taste. Some days, she forgets meals altogether. Other days, she pushes her plate away after a few bites, saying music, is just not hungry. She assumes this is normal at her age. Doctors do not see it that way. When appetite fades, it is often a sign that the body is losing its drive to sustain itself. Hunger is regulated by a complex conversation between the brain, the digestive, music, system, hormones, and metabolism. When that conversation weakens, it often means that one or more of these systems is under strain. Doctors frequently observe appetite loss in people whose bodies are quietly conserving energy, preparing for decline rather than growth or repair. A reduced appetite leads to a cascade of changes, music, that can be difficult to reverse if ignored. The body begins to lose muscle because it no longer receives enough protein and calories to maintain strength. Immune defenses weaken, making infections more dangerous. Wound healing slows. Balance worsens. Energy drops further. Doctors often see patients who appear frail not because of one dramatic illness, but because their bodies have slowly been starved of what they need to stay resilient. Doctors know that when appetite returns, many other systems begin to recover as well. Energy improves. Muscles respond better to movement. Sleep becomes more stable. The body regains some of its will to maintain itself. That is why this sign matters so much. It is not just about food. It is about whether the body is still actively participating in life or quietly pulling away from it. Pay attention to your relationship with eating. Ask yourself whether hunger still shows up naturally, whether meals bring comfort, and whether your body feels nourished afterward. Appetite is one of the clearest expressions of vitality. When it fades without explanation. If you're still watching this video and find these insights valuable, please type number 4 in the comments so I know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Music, your support truly encourages us to keep creating meaningful content. Now, let's continue. Sign 5, of emotional flatness and loss of reaction. One of the most overlooked, yet deeply telling, signs doctors notice is a gradual flattening of emotional responses. This is not about sadness, grief, or having a bad day. It is about a dulling of emotional reactions across the board. Joy feels muted. Concern feels distant. Even events that once sparked strong feelings now barely register. Doctors pay close attention to this because emotional responsiveness is closely tied to brain health, nervous system balance, and the body's overall drive to engage with life. Picture two people in their mid-70s. Karen is 74 and still reacts naturally to daily life. She laughs when something is funny, feels irritated when something goes wrong, music, and shows concern when a loved one is struggling. Her emotions rise and fall, but they are present. Music. Then there is George, also 74. Over time, his reactions have softened to the point of near absence. Music. Good news barely moves him. Bad news does not seem to bother him much either. When asked how he feels, he often says he feels fine, but there is little energy behind the words. Doctors notice this pattern immediately. When emotional responses flatten, it often means the brain is conserving energy or struggling to regulate chemical balance. The nervous system may be under chronic stress. Inflammation may be affecting brain signaling, and engagement is weakening. This sign matters because emotions are not decorative. They are functional. Emotional reactions help regulate hormones, immune responses, and even heart rhythm. When someone feels joy, connection, or curiosity, the body releases chemicals that support repair and resilience. When those reactions fade, the body loses an important source of internal stimulation. Doctors often see that patients with flattened emotions recover more slowly from illness and decline more rapidly after setbacks. Music. Many seniors dismiss this change because it does not feel painful. You may not feel unhappy. You may simply feel neutral most of the time. Doctors know that neutrality without engagement is not the same as peace. Peace still contains awareness and responsiveness. Emotional flatness often contains detachment, music, and low reactivity. That difference matters greatly for long-term health. Doctors also notice that emotional flatness often appears alongside subtle changes in posture, voice tone, and facial expression. Speech may become slower or more monotone. Facial expressions may soften or disappear. These are not just signs of aging. They reflect changes in brain circuits that coordinate emotion and movement. When these circuits weaken, overall resilience declines. Pay attention to how you react to the world around you. Ask yourself whether things still move you, whether you feel curiosity, concern, or enjoyment in everyday moments. Emotional presence is a sign that the brain and body are still actively participating in life. When reactions fade without a clear reason, doctors listen closely. Music. Emotional flatness is not just about feelings. It is often a quiet signal that the body is losing its connection to vitality. Final thoughts. They see them as messages. Music signals that the body is struggling to maintain balance, resilience, and engagement with life. What matters most is this. These signs are not guarantees of what will happen. Music, they are indicators of direction. The body often whispers long before it screams. Many people reach a critical point not because help was impossible, but because the early signals were ignored or explained away as normal aging. Aging does bring change, but rapid decline is not an inevitable sentence. If you recognize yourself in any of these signs, do not let fear take over. Awareness is not a verdict. It is an opportunity. Small changes made early often have a much greater impact than drastic measures taken too late. Doctors know this. That is why they watch for these signs so closely. They are not waiting for the end. They are watching for a chance to intervene. The goal is not simply to add days to life, but to protect the strength, clarity, and dignity of the years ahead. Your body is still communicating with you. The question is whether you are listening. Pay attention. Music, take gentle action. Seek guidance when something feels off. These choices matter more than most people realize. If you found this video helpful, please remember to hit the like button. It really helps us bring you more valuable content. Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts, questions, or music, what topic you'd like us to cover next. We love hearing from you. Of course, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can never miss out on our latest insights.